Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Agency Platform VIP bi-weekly webinar series. Good to have you on. If you can do me a favor, if you can locate the chat portion of the webinar interface, if you give me a shout out, if you can see my screen okay and hear me okay. I'll throw something in the chat so you can hear me or see me. And not currently receiving chat messages. Okay, bear with me just for a little bit. I have a sneaky suspicion that chat may be disabled for you, given this is the first time that we have. Oh, weird. Okay, sorry. I had the wrong chat window open. Okay, fantastic. So everyone can see my screen and hear me. So a shout out to everyone that's on the line. Hey, Phil. Hey, Charles. Hey, Scott, Vince, Linda, Matt. How y'all doing? So before I get started, I'll introduce myself. My name is Paul Steinmetz. I'll be your presenter in the webinar series for now and for the foreseeable future as well. And every other week, we're going to go over a topic matter that perfectly relates to you and your agency and what's important to you. And we're going to do a training, a presentation, and we'll have an open Q&A session as well. So hopefully you guys are excited about this series. When you registered once, you're automatically registered to every webinar in the series. So in 2 weeks from today, you'll receive email updates and a join link to the webinar, which should be the exact same join link. So today, I'm going to go over the SEO audit report, how to get it on your site, how to use it in a client consultation, how to use it to help you close more leads. And then we're going to talk about the coin turn 1 lead into 50 strategy utilizing that audit report. And we'll talk about other fun lead generation stuff for marketing agencies. And yeah, the webinar is being recorded. Thanks for reminding me. It is recording. But before I dive into the presentation, I wanted to take a quick little chat survey just so I can gauge the audience a bit more. How many of you have had your marketing agency up for more than 3 years? Just give me a shout out in the chat box. Me or yes or no. I got some veterans on here. Lorcan, Scott, Paige, and we have some people that are less than 3 years. Although in the digital world, having an agency for 2 years certainly isn't small. Matt's had his agency for 5 years. Congratulations. Randy says yes. Brenda, more than 3 years. Fantastic. Hey, can someone else give me a shout out? Can you see each other's chat? I haven't used GoToWebinar in a bit. Okay, you cannot see each other's messages. Oh, that's no fun, right? There's just so much communication going on and you can't see it. Okay, well, I'll try to help communicate that. Okay, how many of you are actively members of Agency Platform, have access to the dashboard? And also, please speak up if you do not. Okay. If you do not, remind me towards the end of the webinar, there's an updated sign-up process that I have for people that are not. If you haven't signed up before, I have an easier way for you to sign up through a free trial process. It's just an easier way to get started. So remind me at the end of the webinar to throw you guys that link that are going to want to get signed up. Now, next survey question. What is the primary service that either you're currently selling or that you want to be selling? Whether it's social media marketing, pay-per-click marketing, SEO, local SEO, web design. Matt says all of the above. Matt, you've got a big service menu, don't you? Orkin Page, SEO, Phil's into web and SEO. Everyone's saying SEO. Is anyone not selling SEO? Linda says we're good at PPC and SEO. Thank you, Linda. Jay's into Facebook lead generation. Brenda, inbound marketing, lead gen. Linda selling everything. Why not? It can be challenging to scale, but some people need a lot more than just one marketing category. Scott's into web, mobile, social, would like to do more SEO. Fantastic. Now, for those of you that are into SEO, are any of you, I assume most of your SEO clients are local, they're regional, as in they have typically a brick and mortar. Their geo targets usually around a city's name. Oh, Brenda, your primary audience is national? Daphne, Scott, Linda, local. Brenda, B2B SEO. Lorcan, e-commerce national. That's a unique one. Charles, local. Paige, local. Typically, for marketing agencies, of course, the vast majority of businesses are local businesses, so it's usually local clientele. Okay, 2 more questions for you guys, and then we're going to dive into the presentation. And if you haven't noticed, I'm kind of buying a bit of time to allow everyone to get on the webinar before we dive into it. A lot of people come in late. What type of advice would you hope to gain from this webinar series? Anything you want. I'm taking suggestions. It dictates what we do moving forward. This is your chance to give some feedback. What would you like to learn best? I present every other week on a webinar series. Daphne, fantastic answer. How to attract and keep clients. I don't know which one's more difficult, getting a client or keeping a client. Most people would say getting a client, but keeping a client definitely is something that I love to present about. Vince, how to find local prospects. Michael wants to know how to be more productive. You and me both, Michael. We should do a phone call after this and have a powwow. Vinod, how to use the sales audit to make sales. Well, we're going to tackle that one today. Matt, track more clients. Edward, get more leads. Scott, more leads. Lorcan, how to provide a webinar as lead generation. That's interesting. Hey, as a thought out there, what if we did a webinar that was client-facing for everyone and you invited all your clients to it? Just a thought. I shouldn't always talk out loud like that. It gets me in trouble. Derry, if you do maps instead of SEO. Derry, bring that up when we're getting through the audit report. GMB versus local SEO. Where's the emphasis? Why does it matter? Joe, lowest barrier to signing a client. Derry, the subject matter of SEO is not working. We can talk about that. Maybe not today. Okay, fantastic. Well, a lot of consensus around lead generation. How many of you feel like you understand the local SEO service as well, since that's probably the most popular one to be talking about, just to gauge? You know, of course, everyone wants to talk about sales. Everyone wants to talk about lead gen. It makes sense. How to retain your clients, that makes sense as well. But understanding your product typically comes first. Like, you really want to understand the product you're selling, right? Then you go sell it. Mint says not well enough, but it won't. Vinod, I do, but it doesn't hurt to have a refresher course. Linda, she totally understands it. She's got it. Charles, somewhat. Okay. And I was going to ask you what your greatest struggles are in your marketing agency, but I assume that goes hand in hand with what you hope to learn most from this webinar series. So I think I'll skip that and dive right into the presentation. Okay, so I'm going to try to get through this presentation within 45 minutes. Good luck, but I hope I do. And then I want to take Q&A afterwards. So if you've got Q&A questions for me at the end, anything at all, write them down, be thinking about them over the next 45 minutes. And after I get through with this presentation, hit me with the general Q&A. Anything outside the box, I'll stay on for a good amount of time, probably until people are done asking questions or get tired of being on. Now, as I'm going through the webinar, feel free to shout out on chat. I've got a chat window open. I got 2 screens up, and I pay attention to your questions as I'm going through this. So feel free to ask questions as I get through the webinar, but if you can please keep the questions somewhat closely related to what we're talking about. Otherwise, my mind's going to go 10,000 different directions, and this will turn into a 3-hour webinar. Okay, you guys ready to get started? We are recording. If you have to jump off early, it's okay, but you don't get the fantastic Q&A at the end. This is being recorded. Recording will be given out. Okay, what are the audit reports? I assume all of you know what the audit reports are. If you do not, of course, you need access to the dashboard. If you don't have access at the end, remind me, I'll get you a link. You go to pre-sale, drop down, and today we're going to be talking about the SEO audit reports. Now, the SEO audit report it does not just cover SEO, it covers local SEO components. It covers directories, it covers reputation, reviews, pay-per-click, social media. So it's almost a disjustice calling it SEO because it's so much. It's really the powerhouse audit report, and we're going to be going over that today. So in order to access this, you're going to go into pre-sale, drop down, and click on SEO audit reports. And this would allow you to get in where you'd run your audit report. Now, you can put a widget on your code, which is going to put a form on your website so that anyone that lands on your website, if they want to request an audit report, you can automatically run them an audit report, have it emailed to them, and you notify that you've got a new lead to follow up with a consultation, 100% automated. And as long as you're a member of Agency Platform, that's free. How many of you have put this widget on your site? Anybody using this? I know there's a lot of hidden secrets to the dashboard. Not everyone's familiar with all of the everything in that treasure chest. But so Matt has not. Charles did. Lorcan has not. Brenda's adding it to your list. Fantastic. Vinod, almost there. Vince just found out. Fantastic. You know, you price this. You're going to be paying between, I price this, right? You're going to pay between $40 and $80 a month to have this capability on just an isolated software platform, and it's not even as good. Do your research, go out there, try to find it. This is valuable. Wow, most of you have not. That shocks me. I'm glad we're going over this because it's valuable. Listen, if you've got a call to action on your website, what is it? What prompts people to take action? This audit report, as I get into it, it's worth money. This is something you can charge for, not to mention, of course, your free consultation worth $500 that follows up with it, right? How nice would it be to have people booking meetings with you to have you close them on a marketing campaign as opposed to you chasing everyone? Anyways, you get in there, you hit get widget code, grab the widget code, put it on your site. This form pops up. If you have a designer, they can design it. If you don't know how to do it, grab a designer, or I'm sure you could probably reach out to a project manager in Agency Platform and have them figure something out for you. Casey has a good question. We have seen other companies with widgets that provide instant feedback. Is this widget able to provide instant feedback as opposed to the 24-hour delay in PDF email? No. Short answer, no. So after you fill this out, I forget what the return time is on it. It does take a couple hours to email out, but they're currently in develop to cut that down. I forget exactly how far it's going to be cut down, but it's going to be cut down so that the response time is a lot faster. I'm not able to quote exactly how fast, but 3-4 times faster. Okay, so what are the benefits of having an audit report widget on your website? Well, one, provide instant reports, and yeah, they're not instant, but it comes in a couple hours. And also, I do want to point out one thing that is beneficial about not delivering it instantaneously. As we go through this, I'm going to help coach you how to build up the value behind an audit report. I could show you an audit report and tell you that it's free and give it to you, but you're a marketing agency. You also kind of know this world, right? But if I walk into a dental office and I hand them an audit report, The value behind that audit report is what I explain it to them to be. They don't know if I manually compiled that data. They don't know if it took me 5 hours. They don't know if it cost me $50 or $200 or $300. There are business audit reports out there that cost thousands of dollars. Why does it have to be free? I would never advertise this as, hey, get your audit report. That's my cost is absolutely free on it. So why not? So if it's not instant, at least if it takes a couple hours to get to them, it feels like it probably was not 100% automatically generated, which is how I would recommend positioning it. Benefit number 2, offer instant reports along with a free consultation. Why let people just grab a free report? I would definitely put in there on your landing page that it comes with a free consultation and try to work into a workflow with it with a follow-up email to have them schedule their free consultation worth X amount of money to go over their audit report. And you feel free to, if you even wanted to let them know, no sales involved. I typically charge X amount of money for this consultation, and we're going to be going over a really in-depth report. And by the way, guys, this is not an audit report just about your client's website. No. What about their competition? This is also about their competition. So it's a consultation about them, their digital marketing, their online presence, and benchmarking them up against their competition. So you're able to provide a consultation with a competitive analysis. Benefit number 3, centerpiece to a powerful landing page. Okay, look, all of you should have one landing page to your website outside of your homepage. You should. If you don't, you need to put it on your to-do list. If you don't have one, I assume you don't have a pixel on your site and you're not retargeting. And I assume that you're not running any paid ads as well. Okay, Charles, I'll probably get to that question later. So having the audit report really is a centerpiece to a powerful landing page. Anyone want to speak up? Do you have anyone that has a landing page currently? Are you able to speak up and just say, what are you offering on that landing page? What's the trigger to get people to take action on your landing page to inquire about your marketing services? Is it a free audit report? Oh, there you go, Lorcan, free audit. What about you're giving away a free campaign setup or buy one marketing campaign, get one free? I don't know, anything. But what is it that you're prompting them to get them to contact you? You need something other than, hey, I can help you with your marketing. Contact me below. Need something, right? Waiting for name 200 says Google Maps. So do you do something free with Google Maps? Marcus, a free audit. Fantastic. Brenda, there you go. White papers, educational material, how-tos. That's a good one. It works, but I don't know if it works better than a free audit. A free audit's like a white paper about their business, right? Anyone else? Anything fancy that you offer? How do you get people to convert? You got to have something. Brenda, we offer a free audit too. Majority of people are saying audit. I don't know if you're using this one or not, but the rest of you on the line get the picture, right? What are you going to offer people on your site? It might not be your primary way of generating leads. Maybe you cold call. Maybe you send out physical mail, whatever it is. But you still got a site. You should still make an effort to convert from it. And for that, you need something to prompt people to get a hold of you and why they should. Other than that, you're just fantastic. Gabriel offers a smile with an audit. That's a good one, Gabriel. Fantastic. Maybe you could even offer teeth whitening. That was a joke. Okay. 4, primary call to action throughout the site. Hey, if you only got one landing page and you've got your centerpiece on how you're trying to get people to take action, why not use it throughout your site? We'll go over that. Benefit number 5, track audit request submissions inside the dashboard. Well, what if for all these people that fill out to ask for an audit from you? Well, yes, you're going to get an email reminder, but also you're able to track them with their audit that was ran on their company from inside the dashboard. Wouldn't that be cool? It's real. Benefit number 6, get notified when someone requests a report. That's nice. Then you know when to contact them, right? 7, educate your prospects before you even call them. So this is probably the most important piece of the benefit. And you're probably thinking, geez, will he just get on with the audit and show it to me? But I really want to position it first. Look, there's a big difference between talking to someone and trying to explain to them the concept of what you have to offer, right? If I'm going to call you up right now, you don't know much about marketing. I'm going to talk to you about your website, how I can help you. How am I going to grow your business? How am I going to bring you more leads? And now what am I going to do? Start talking to you about the technical components behind what I do. How does it work? What's in the Google algorithm? How does the GMB get rankings? What are the logistics behind pay-per-click and organic viral social media strategizing? And watch your clients' eyes glaze over. But they do want to hear about their business. And there's a specific sales approach to clients that they're going to like, maybe, but better than the other. And without a technical sale, but more of a consultative sale, talking to them about their business, about their online presence, about their competition, you're talking to them about what they want to hear. And it doesn't have to be about primarily focused on, this are my services that I want to sell to you, but a legitimate consultation and a report given to them ahead of time so that they can go over and know what you're going to be able to go over with them on. There's a reason why everyone's after these audits. Okay, before I go over the audit report, I'm going to go over just a few things that you could do on your website with the audit. Listen, you should optimize your site, right? Having an audit report only works for you whenever you use it, but you can have something that pops up on your website for people to quickly fill out an email and request an audit as well. So I want to specify two things with the audits, because only on the SEO audit report does it have the widget that you can put on the site. And another webinar, we're going to go over the Ppc audit report, which, by the way, gives people an audit report if they do or do not, two different versions, have a Ppc campaign running. Wow. And a social media audit report. Those two do not have widgets. So with that in mind, I would have the widget on my site, but I would also have no problem saying, hey, to get your audit report, fill in your email here, submit it. You're going to get an email, and then you can run the audit and send it to them separately, because it might be hard to integrate that widget with some other things that are great pop-up call to action, such as Hello Bar, that you might want to look into and add to your site. So wherever they're at on your site, it pops up on the bottom. A real quick question from Rob. The audit allows you to create an email series educating them on what you will discuss and the importance of each item from a high level to get them very interested. Yes, Rob, you could create an email drip sequence off of that to get them very interested, but I wouldn't wait for that. If someone ran an audit with me today, I'd follow up with them. And if I have time to talk to them today, I would want to, or I'd see if they're free tomorrow. I definitely wouldn't wait for them to get through an email series before they reach out to me. I would be proactive, but also I would figure out in a way on an automatic email follow-up to give them my meeting calendar. If you're not using a meeting calendar, put it on your to-do list. And there. Okay, what about using a pop-up message on your site as well? Anyone using this? If not, please look into it. Look, someone comes on your site, they've been on your site for how many seconds before you should hit them with a pop-up message? You might think it's annoying. I've never gone to a site, and I'm easily annoyed, and had a pop-up message pop up, close it, and say, I'm never going back there again. They work. Anyone using this on your site? Someone lands on your site, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds later, pops up. Brenda, thank goodness somebody is using this. Vince is recommending a pop-up widget. Listen, there's got to be all kinds of these pop-up widgets that you could probably find for free in WordPress. I would Google WordPress plugins for pop-up. Got to be something out there. I use Thrive Themes. Also has a landing page builder put into it and more, but it's not free and it's not the cheapest. And there are free solutions out there for this in the form of a WordPress plugin if you're running WordPress. Thrive Themes has all kinds of crazy pop-up options. It's really kind of advanced, but it could be simple. Linda says, can we do a delayed pop-up with the audit widget? It's going to depend on the pop-up type that you're using. The short answer is yes, absolutely. With the right pop-up plugin, if you're using WordPress or custom coding it, 100% you could. What do I use? It's called Thrive Themes. Did that send? Anyone see my response to that? I am not. Okay, weird. On my end now, it has oddly blocked my ability to respond to chat. That is so weird. Sorry, I hate to hold up the webinar. No, there it goes. Sorry, I haven't used GoToWebinar in a while. Okay, brain fart, moving forward. How about putting a link in your main navigation? Free audit. This is just an example. This isn't actually on the agency platform website, but I would. Why not? So that's another way to use it. And then, of course, create a landing page with it. Again, if you don't have a landing page, just create one. You don't have to have a landing page builder. You don't have to pay for some expensive solution. There's free landing page builders for WordPress, drag and drop. You could just customize it from HTML and just do a custom landing page. I don't care how you do your landing page, just do one and make sure that it's optimized to convert traffic the best that you can, and have something that's your corner piece on what you're offering as to get people as an incentive to come and talk to you. I just realized my name has been showing up as Samir. Sorry. I kept looking at that and thinking, why did it change it? Okay, well, maybe, there we go. Anyone, shout outs, landing page builders, landing page solutions. You could put in for a custom quote inside of agency platform, and you could get a landing page built for you by landing agency platform. If you're wanting to beta test landing pages and have a landing page builder, anyone want to have any shout outs on that real quick? A bit of sharing. Lorcan says lead pages. Yeah, I got to admit, I'm biased to landing page builders that you can self-host and not have to always pay a monthly cost for. That's just me. I know most people are completely the other way. Gabriel says, does all this work with Wix? I'm sure it would. I mean, it's just an embed code. Okay, well, if you're looking for landing page builders, the cheapest that you're going to find that are out there for drag and drop are going to be a WordPress plugin. So just Google WordPress plugin landing page builders. Small one-time cost, you own it forever, you install it on your site or others, and you can always drag and drop and build your own landing pages. So you have no excuse for not building a landing page and coming up with a primary call to action and reason for people to contact you. If you don't have one, you're really missing the ball game. Okay. Using the audit as a sales tool. Can you guys see my screen well enough to read what's on the screen? Before, okay, so I'm not going to go into the actual dashboard. I'm going to go screen by screen. Listen, whenever you run an SEO audit report, it does have a cover, more of a cover page on it, but it dives into it and it has a website score and it breaks down all of these different categories. So it's weighting them. And that's important because everyone can understand a scoring system, like 3 out of 10, a rating system, a 9 out of 10, and then it's pulling it all together and an overall score of, for example, this site has an overall score of 70 out of 100. We all went to school. We know that's a C minus, which is borderline D, and that's really bad. So it's easy to interpret on a rating system, which is why it's in this format, which took a lot of work to do. And then the audit report, although it's for SEO, what I really want you to just forget the word SEO and know that it's going to audit the site for on-page optimization, a mobile-friendly website responsiveness, their keyword rankings with competition analysis on that, off-page optimization, visibility across directories, their reviews and reputation, social media, There's even a PPC analysis as well as general competition analysis. So from this audit, yes, it will help with a consultation to upsell from that consultation into primarily local SEO, but also SEO. And then also upsell into, if you wanted, PPC, social media. There are two different options when creating the SEO audit report, national or local. And for local, it just adds, if I remember correctly, the visibility and reviews portion. So on page, it's going to break it down and talk about high priority problems, medium priority problems, and low priority problems, right? So that's easy for a client to digest. But also, it gives you a talking point with a client to start out with, such as, well, what would you do differently to my website? What would you address? Well, these are the main things that I would address. And then there's a little description at the bottom. Whenever discussing this with a client, you always want to focus on how it relates back to the impact on their marketing and not dwell on the technical component. For example, this one says description missing or is empty. Let's say if that was the meta description. You don't want to get into what is a meta description, why is a meta description is important, what's the character count, how many keywords should be in it. You just always want to be relating it back to the client in terms of, well, if this isn't done, it can negatively impact your ability to rank for keywords in Google, which means you'll get less traffic and have less leads as a result. So always relate it back on the marketing and business level, unless, of course, you're talking to a client that happens to be very technical, which I assume rarely happens. But every once in a while, you might get that big dream client you're really excited to pitch, and they put their marketing director right in front of you. And all of a sudden, everything becomes technical. Well, this report can cover that as well. On-page optimization, further breakdown. This is where it would get a bit more technical. But it also allows you to, what I call, establish trust through intelligence. So making sure that your client's eyes or lead's eyes are not glazing over as you're getting into a technical analysis, but letting them know on a short overview what this would mean. And I would really only point things out if there's red flags. It gets into Google Pages Indexed. Of course, I would primarily comment on Google Pages Indexed if they do not have enough pages indexed. That's going to be a really big problem. And you know what? I would say probably maybe 25% of the time I've seen that a site's pages are not all indexed. Anyone know why a website's pages might not all be indexed? Lack of a proper sitemap, robots text issue. They had a website built by someone else and they put a robots text, no index, no follow on it because they didn't want it indexing while they were building it, and they launched it live and never took it off. Charles says XML file. Yeah, it happens. So every red flag and problem that comes up in the report is a sales benefit to you. Look at it that way. It's not a way to just get into a technical conversation. It's your way of telling the client that something bad is wrong, and my goodness, who in the world could fix it for them? Well, I don't know. You could. That's why it's positioned there. So use it that way. If they have a non-secure website, anyone want to shout out? Is it required to have SSL on your site? Even if you're not e-commerce, even if you're not transacting, should your site be SS or HTTPS? Charles says it will be a ranking factor, or Linda says it is a ranking factor. More recently, yes. Vince says yes. Everyone says yes. Blaine says no, but advisable. Google says so, but I don't have the exact link to a Google write-up, or maybe it was by Search Engine Land, about how HTTPS could benefit your rankings. I'm not sure if Google came right out and said that it will, but if they did, can someone throw me a link? Michael says, if you have a login or contact form, it's required. A really good point. Darren says, as time goes by, it's getting more important. You know, listen, I will say this. Look at the screenshot. You notice anything on HTTPS? That screenshot's obviously taken from Chrome. Listen, just because it has a slash through the HTTPS, or typically it has a little icon letting you know that it's not a secure site, that's enough. That's enough. That's all that you need to say, okay, need this to be HTTPS. Blaine, let me see if I can post that link out to everybody. Thank you. Okay, website, mobile-friendly website. Why would we check that on an SEO audit report? Why? That doesn't make any sense. Does Google check to know if your website is mobile-friendly? And if it is not mobile-friendly, does it impact your rankings? And if so, wouldn't that make sense on why it would be on an SEO audit report? There are more searches on mobile than desktop. Rightio, Charles. So you're telling me that mobile friendliness is a ranking factor. Someone want to throw me a link on that? By the way, does anyone have a link they can throw me on the official Google mobile friendly checker? Check your own website with it. It is a ranking factor, more so on mobile search than outside of it, but it is a factor on both. And this was released a long time ago. So if your client's website is not mobile responsive, maybe it could be fixed. You could get a web design quote on it. Maybe it should be rebuilt, but it needs to be addressed. Thank you, Blaine. So Google mobile friendly checker official link from Google, and you can just Google for Google's official announcement on that it is going to be a ranking factor. That was published by Google, not some third-party news agency. Okay, any questions on why mobile friendliness matters? This also talks about load speed, I believe. No, maybe not on here. Okay, well, it's a great lead-in if you're wanting to do any web design or fix a mobile-friendly issue on a website. Of course, as you know, if it's not mobile-friendly, if it's not a responsive site to begin with, it probably needs to be rebuilt. Okay, then we get to the rankings. Our rankings ran as part of the audit report. Yes, they are. Now, whenever rankings are ran on the audit report, it's going to be pulling out their top keywords for the geographic location if you chose local on the audit report, or if your prospect did when they were going through the widget process. Yeah. So that's why the audit report is so fantastic. Not only does it show them where they're ranking, but it specifically in big fat bold says not in top 10, because why tell them when they're ranking at position 11? Anyone want to tell me what percentage of traffic goes through position 11? Bonus points, giving away free karma. Position 11, what percentage of traffic? Darren says 7%, Weston 5%, Matt says 0. Matt, I'm right there, man. Blaine says 2%. I don't know who's right, but you're all ballpark. It's very small. I got to say, yeah, it's gonna depend on the business category and the type of keywords, and if people are more into a research mode or just trying to find like a local restaurant. But yeah, I would say definitely that range. So why even let them know if they're on page 2 or 3 or 4 or 5? You're not going to get traffic there anyways. And the audit report doesn't. That's why this is a sales tool. It's not just a technical audit, it's a sales tool. So for example, yeah, you're ranking in position 3 and 2 respectively for these keywords, not in top 10 for everything else. PPC competition, less than percentage, because it's going to help to sell. Average monthly searches, categorize less than 100, and if it's above, we will say. So I don't think I need to explain why this is beneficial to have a conversation on this with a client. I would like to spend a lot of time conversing on this topic matter with a client. I would rather spend tenfold the amount of time conversing on particularly this one than the on-page technical breakdown, right? Michael says, page 2 of Google, bury the dead bodies. Who goes today to page 2 of Google? Well, I do sometimes, but I'm a bit dorkier than most people, and I'm pretty particular about how I search. But I will say on my mobile phone, when I'm looking for a local search that prompts the maps, I'll look in the maps, I'll look below for recommendations, and yeah, page 2 doesn't happen a lot. Darren says, can you change Yahoo to Bing in the report on the future? I'm sure that they can. I don't know if it'll happen or not. But as you know, Bing and Yahoo results are one and the same, yeah? Does anyone use Yahoo anymore? Not to get off topic matter. Yahoo, Bing. Does anyone use Bing anymore? Really? I don't use Bing. I don't use Yahoo. I used to use some games on Yahoo, and then they sold the whole thing off. Darren, no, page 2 matters based on the competition like Amazon, eBay. Yep. Ooh, Linda just got 4 leads on Bing. Well, the SEO offered by agency platform optimizes for Bing and Yahoo too. Okay. Now, PPC. If you're not offering PPC, you might want to consider it more. We probably need to have a training going over the paid advertising services from agency platform. But did you know that we handle PPC, retargeting, display ads, Facebook ads, other social media ads? Did you know that? You know how popular that is? Do you know how to position it? Do you know how to make a profit on it? Do you know how to charge by CPM, by categorizing the amount of impressions? A lot of people don't. We should do a training on that. Tell you what, stick around to the end of the webinar and we'll take a vote on the next topic matters we're going to cover related with agency platform. Okay, PPC opportunity and an analysis of the top ads from the competition. Listen, when you're giving someone a consultation about their online marketing and about online marketing, how they can grow their business, and specifically about their current positioning or online presence, the more you can put in front of them of their competition, the better. The more you can focus how good their competition is doing, the better. Hey, it makes sense, right? A lot of business owners are competitive. They don't just like to be told about how they have a complete lack and void of an online presence. They probably know that, but putting their competition in front of them, advisable. So PPC opportunity. How about the ads that their competitors are running that are on the top of the page that are in competition? That's going to help them at least want to kickstart digital marketing. And then to go even further, if you wanted to upsell them into PPC, or because they don't want to spend as much of the budget. Yeah, Weston said my mic went out. I got a mic check. Mic check. Okay, Weston, you're back on. So, for example, suggested monthly budget in PPC, $1,000. Expected monthly clicks. Wow, that's bold to predict, but we do. 588. Anyone want to do the math on that? Broken down, 30% content, 10% remarketing, and 60% search. If you don't know what that means, we'll cover it later. But isn't it cool that we would run a paid advertising campaign for you, wrapping in remarketing, content, and search all in one? Now, maybe the client doesn't like the idea, right, of having $1,000 suggested budget for ad spend, and on top of it, what you would charge them, which might be a more of a motivating factor for them to partake in a local SEO campaign. So either way, upsell it into PPC from here, or if they don't want it, it's going to motivate them to go the more affordable direction. Okay, site security. It doesn't hurt to run a check. And if anything, on your landing page, you should be pointing out the primary features in the audit report that you run for them, right? So you want to pull out and advertise on your landing page why this audit report is so amazing. And one of the things that they can know is one of the checks that you do for them. Do you know if your website is secure? Is your IP blacklisted? Do you have malware? Do you have spyware? Are there backdoors on your site? Malicious downloads or Trojans, etc. Make sure that your site is secure, run your audit, and etc. Okay. Darren says, this page simply shows value and it's not about selling, a break in selling, good info. Listen, whenever you're talking B2B to business owners and selling marketing, never, ever underestimate the necessity of building trust. Look, the best people I've ever seen selling digital marketing to clients had the client sold before they went over the details of the service. Let me say that one more time. The best guys I've ever seen in selling digital marketing to clients had the client sold in a meeting before they started going over the details of the service. Don't forget that. A lot of agency owners, maybe even yourselves, tend to get very technical. You take pride in being technical. Maybe you're even a practitioner. You're a very well-educated marketer. Doesn't mean that's what the client wants to hear. And establishing trust with that client. What's the business owner trying to figure out with you? Is this person legit? Do they know what they're talking about? Will they do what they tell me they can do? Can I trust them with my marketing investment money? So this consultation is not just about selling. A lot of it's about building trust. And that's where talking about site security comes in well. Why not? Off-page optimization. This gets technical, so you got to be careful about diving in on this one. If anything, it's going to help you to establish trust through intelligence by letting them know that you do dive deep into metrics that impact their capability to rank for SEO. For the SEO gurus on the line, off-page optimization to the website direct. And you guys don't need to know all this data, but for those of you that are technical, Moz rank, domain authority, backlinks, backlink power, referring domains, the off-page, all in a bottle. Does it impact a client's capability to rank higher in the Google My Business listing section, aka Snack Pack, aka Maps in Google? Does off-page and backlinks to a website impact your GMB? Weston says yes. Anyone else? Bernard says yes. Randy says yes. Yeah, it's an undeniable factor. What percentage? That's highly debatable. I don't think anybody has the answer to that. Does it impact it? Yes. Does it impact enough that it should be considered significant? Yes. What percentage? Yeah, I don't think anyone has that answer. Moz has stated that SEO from the site collectively is around anywhere close to about a 33% ranking factor for maps. But again, they're going to be much higher given that they're within a certain geographic area. Okay, so I'm not going to go over all of this. Look, if you don't know these different definitions, it explains them on here. You can read up about them. I would just let them know that your score on this section is whatever out of 15. And if you wanted to point out some issues, you could, but I'd be very careful about diving into this because you're going to lose any momentum that you had. Just let them know that these are some of the factors, if you ever wanted to read over them, that impact the SEO and as well as your Google My Business listing rankings. It does get technical, it gets deep, but this shows you that we do analyze it and we dive into it. Just know that. And if you ever wanted to have your questions answered about this, I'm here, but I want you to know that we're very technical and it does get deep. Let's move on. Don't get stuck on that stuff. You're going to lose all your fun forward momentum, right? Speaking of fun forward momentum, visibility is one of those. So every client can relate to, oh, well, how many directories are you showing up on? Of course, the primary search engines, but on review sites, social media sites, what is your visibility out there? And how many sites do you have accurate business information on? So this is just going to do a rough analysis on it. And the really nice thing is it's going to benchmark them versus the industry average. So, I mean, it's Not so fantastic for you if they're doing a lot better than the industry average, but you could just say congratulations and keep moving. If not, you really want to talk about that because it's part of the SEO, local SEO particularly. You're going to be setting up the directories that contain the review sites within them, whether it's all in one. You'd be setting up the social sites, depending on the package level, and of course, search engines. Correct, Darren. This is a local SEO audit and not national. Oh, Weston, you want to take it there? Are you gonna throw me behind? Don't get me started on Yext. Weston says, big question here is that I found a few clients use Yext and they offer more than 50 plus local directory listings. This only looks at less than 30, right? I can also show you a resource that will provide you with 500 directory listings. Anyone want the link? 500. Sometimes less is more. Phil. Settle down, Phil. And no, Darren, you guys cannot have the link to that. Vinod wants 5,000 directory listings. No, absolutely not. And I can give you a link where you can go get 5,000 backlinks tomorrow as well. And they're really cheap too. And I'm not giving you the link because you don't need it. It's going to kill the client's website. Listen, Google's not stupid. They've really evolved. More directories is not better. All right. Anyone has ever looked at a Google Analytics report for a client and seen more than 5 directories sending traffic to that client over a 6-month period? I will challenge you. Ever. Never. They will not drive traffic, not more than 5. So, what's the value of the directory? Okay, backlink. Okay, what's the value of that backlink? Go Google it. There's so much information out there about having 50 plus directories as backlinks and how good it is. Not good, not advisable. And you know what also is not advisable about having all those directories? How do you update all the business information? So Yext, you have to pay them annually or monthly for life to have a centralized login to update it all. You don't have individual passwords or login, and you got to keep paying for the rest of your life. Now, how much do you pay monthly in Yext? Then I got to keep moving on. Anybody, monthly, Yext. Break it down monthly, not annually. $35 a month. Okay, I'll take that. I'm just going to round it out. I'll just call it $300 to $400 a year. Whatever. I'll call it $300 a year. Be on the super low side. How long do you want your directory listings to be up for? You're a business owner. You own your business. How long do you want them to be up? Banan says he pays $17 a month. Okay, I'll take it down to $250 a year then. We'll compromise. Let's say that you want it around for 5 years. Okay, what's $250 a year times 5? Anybody? $1,250. You really think it's worth $1,250 to set up? Maybe there's 10 directories that you really want to focus on. $1,250. I'll take that money all day long. I'll set those up myself, and I'll be your centralized login for that. You just send me an email. I'll update all of them manually. Listen, the only reason why you should be using Yext is if you have a bunch of multiple locations, and so you need a centralized login to manage all of your different locations, and only then does it even begin to make sense. But even at that, you don't have login to them. So when you stop paying Yext, they go away. And whenever you do stop paying in Yext, what happens to the information that was populated through API to a lot of those review sites? Is it modified? I had one agency that had a client that they lost all their snack pack because when they canceled Yext, some of that information went down. They weren't even showing up anymore. They had to go back in and adjust some stuff. It's not what it's cracked up to be. Listen, at Agency Platform, we do all the directories by hand. We give you the passwords. You own them. And we're not setting up a bunch of nonsense directories. I can go over the exact directories in another meeting, but don't get sucked into that. So positive. This is on reviews. How many of you offer reputation marketing? For local, it's a good upsell. Did you know that there's a complete reputation marketing suite offered to you for free inside of the dashboard whenever you run a local SEO campaign? Client can access it, upload their client list, solicit reviews by email and text message. Even put a review widget on the client's website, and it's all for free when you get a local SEO campaign. Did you know that? Weston says, yes, of course I knew that. But if you did not, you should know that. That means you could also add reputation marketing on as a done-for-you service or a do-it-yourself service to any local SEO campaign at no additional cost. Would you charge for it? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. So on the audit report, it's going to talk about total reviews versus industry average. Some of their reviews pulled out, broken down, and whenever they ask you what are you going to do about this, you say, yeah, I have software for you. And then it's going to do an analysis of their social media. Of course, they're on the local SEO. There's some larger plans that cover social media, right? Or a la carte social media options that you can find within the system, the agency platform as well. Are social signals a ranking factor? Weston says yes, even if they're no-follow links, not passing link juice. Is it the links that are a ranking factor, or is it other signals that are a ranking factor? Is it the likes to the page? What is it? Well, regardless of what it is and what it is not, study after study off of primary sites that publish studies from Moz to search engine land all report the same thing. It is a ranking factor. And then there's the competition analysis metrics at the bottom. You got to be careful about how you present this. This is the most technical portion, but it is a competition comparison. So what do you want to focus on with this? The bars, the bar chart. That's really what you're going to want to focus on. And then any, for example, domain authority or total links metrics that stand out that you might want to talk about. I tread lightly on this, but I would approach it so that you're establishing trust through intelligence on it and not getting into the technical. If you do, it could really kill it. Okay. We're running short on time, so I'm going to get through this portion fairly quickly. The concept of turning the one lead into 50 is whenever you run an audit report for someone, let's say that you had a consultation with someone, unless you're in a particular niche. Let's say that you ran an audit report for a dentist in the local city and they got a consultation with you, and what did you talk to them about? Their website, their online presence, their competition, keyword opportunities in that geographic area within that niche. You've invested time into this. You've ran an audit report for them. And not to be pessimistic, but what are the odds of that lead working out for you? Is it probable? Is it better or less? Well, published industry closing rates on leads for marketing agencies are, I'll just say less than 50% and put it that way. It's not too fantastic. So what do you do with that time that you invested into that particular lead? You ever think about that? How could you keep forward momentum on that? And of course, if you're in exclusively a particular niche, you would be able to. But a lot of people invest so much time into trying to close one lead, and if it doesn't work out, they just move on to the next one. So for example, maybe today it happens to be a local dentist in this city, and tomorrow it happens to be a pesticide company in this city. But on that one lead, the local dentist, maybe you had an hour researching their audit report and preparing for your conversation. You talked to them about their products and services. You talked to them to understand their marketing needs. You researched their competition. You analyzed the keywords that they wanted. Maybe they wanted a keyword research before they move forward. You analyzed their rankings. You did run the audit report. You had to analyze it. And maybe you even invested more time understanding the client's industry lingo. Maybe not. But regardless, you spent a significant amount of time with that particular lead. So why not take that audit report, and if they didn't close, use it as competitive intelligence and send it to the competition? It's public information. Anyone can run it. But let's say that you're going to do an email outreach campaign, right? How many of you have ever ran cold emails? I know we might be talking a little borderline there, but let's say you had a legitimate list and you're soliciting to it. What are you offering people? What's your lead in beside run your audit? What do you think is going to be better if you're running a cold email or a cold physical mail campaign? When you talk about physical mail, it does convert. It is powerful. What do you think is going to work better? Sending them something, offering them a consultation and a free audit report, or sending them the audit report for their competitor in the same industry with competitive intelligence. And then talking to them saying that you maybe exclusively are willing to offer your services to one business in that niche, in that geographic area, and you've been doing competitive intelligence. This is the current reporting you've been working with, and you have many hours and time studying the landscape of their locale, and you'd like to talk to them. What do you think is going to yield a better result? Offering an audit or showing them an audit on competitive intelligence? My feedback has by far been showing them the competitive intelligence because it puts something in their hand. Because it's going to be really hard for you, and you're not going to be able to do it with the tool that we give you, to run a unique audit for every single person and send it out to them. How are you going to do that? Our audit widget's not going to do that for you. You're not going to be able to say, oh, I want to email this 100 companies that are in this geographic area that happens to be in this niche, or even put it in a physical mail piece that you would send out. And so you're somehow going to automate running a unique audit for every single one. So my advice is that if you're going to invest time into a particular niche in a geo area, and you've got your audit report and competitive intelligence done, why stop there? Why not send out your competitive intelligence to, in an email, and consider physical mail campaigns to all the competitors in the geographic area? And instead of working on one lead, consider the competitive landscape that there's probably, let's take the Denver area. How many dentists do you think are in Denver? What would it take to grab the email or physical address to all of the dentists in Denver? I can do that in less than 5 minutes. There's got to be over 200. You need something to send them other than a hello. So without diving too far into this, and we can follow up next time on this, if you're wanting to scrape box, local scraper, if you're looking to scrape data to be able to email on. If you're wanting to get into cold emailing, there's only particular systems that you can use for cold emailing. Otherwise, you can look forward to getting your server shut down. Check out woodpecker.io, quickmail.io. And I'm very serious about that. There have to be particular systems designed for that. And there's a big trend on them right now. Again, woodpecker.io, quickmail.io. If you want to send out physical mail, this could be done by drop shipping. It can be done with mock handwriting. It can even be done by 3D mail, putting something inside the mail. Click to mail, click send, send direct, 3D mail results. If you've never considered physical mail and you're a marketing agency and you want to generate leads, if you haven't even tried to run a physical mail effort once, you need to. It is the least competitive. Everyone opens their mail, and email is very hard for delivery. However, you can get business addresses that are 100% correct and viable to your target market. So why aren't you doing a physical mail piece? And if you've never tried it, there's no excuse for not doing it because it's completely valid. You're B2B. It's easy to target. Now, Weston says, what is the best piece of physical mail piece information? Well, you can include an audit for competitive intelligence. You can also, there's all kinds of strategies with that. I've definitely seen people just run competitive ranking reports and send it out and say, if you want to compete with your competition. I like the competitive audit because it's easy, but a lot of times it's just the message, short and sweet, like just saying, hey, I'm going to drop you a line. I was doing competitive research in your industry as per the attached report, and I really think I can help you grow your company. Why don't you reach out to me and offer them something, or maybe their own audit or consultation or whatnot. Sometimes putting something in the mail is good. If you look at 3dmailresults.com, they've got everything. Shredded cash, message in a bottle. It gets really crazy, but this stuff does work. Okay, open Q&A, and then we'll wrap up. I'm running over by 4 minutes. Sorry on the hour. We'll jump into open Q&A. Weston says an audit is like 10 pages. Yeah, I print the overview or just key pages. You can definitely send 2 pages on the audit. You could, I'd cut out more of the technical stuff. Andrew says, will there be a replay of the webinar? The recording will be sent out. Blaine says, who's the audit available to? Everyone. Thanks for the shout out, Vince. Some people know my background. I didn't mention it. Suppose I should have. Maybe next time. Bob says, I think woodpecker.co.io. Yeah. Okay. Did I get that wrong? I'm sorry. There's only one woodpecker mail thing out there. So if you just Google it, I say that, then watch there be 2. Can't be. Lorcan says, do you have a webinar template that I can use for onboarding clients? Curious why you would want to use a webinar for onboarding clients. Now, if you wanted to, do like free marketing education or something and invite all your leads to a webinar where you give advice and try to convert them from there, I would understand, but not for onboarding. Vinod, can we talk about white label emailing? Oh boy. If we have time. Andrew says, can you do a national audit for a B2B brand? Yeah. It's not going to include multi-locations, but national, yeah. When you go to run the SEO audit report, it asks you national or local. Oh, there we go. You need access to the dashboard. How can you sign up? All right. So if you've ever signed up before, I don't think this process will work for you, but you can try it. Or okay, so there's a link that came through. It's for a 15-day trial if you haven't been signed up, if it does work for you. If you've already been signed up, it probably won't let you go this route. After the 15-day free trial, if you don't know, if you pay for any campaign, within 15 days of having full access to agency platform and the widget and everything I talked about in the audit reports is free. If you do not pay for a campaign within 15 days, it's $50 a month. But if you do launch a campaign within 30 days, you can apply that $50 a month towards it, or just keep paying $50 a month to have access until you land your first client. Now, I do think if you do take that trial, if you have access to it, you might want to really think about launching a campaign for yourself. I mean, it does make sense, particularly if you're wanting to focus on local SEO and you could use the service as well to acclimate to how project management works and the whole system works and the dashboard. By running a campaign for yourself would make sense. So I would encourage that. Blaine, best way to identify other competitors? Well, Google Maps, Google Business Listing. I'd scrape it. Vinod, correct. The email that goes out should be your email. There's a way to white label your email inside the dashboard. Does everyone white label the dashboard? Let me pull up just. What's the best place to place an audit widget on your website? Everywhere. Typically like on the right-hand sidebar, but I'd have call to actions like I said, like that hello bar, or definitely like after they've been on your site for a certain amount of time, having a pop-up window is really powerful. And like the link on the main navigation as well. Those 4 slides I went over on it, all those. Which service would I recommend to start with, says Marcus? Well, it depends on the client. If it's a local business, it depends on what they're wanting to work on. I mean, if you're consulting a local business and they're showing up on page 1 on the snack pack for their primary industry term, do they need a local SEO package? Probably not. Then I'd evaluate paid advertising options. You know, I personally, I like to break service options up to people and kind of like baseline services, kind of no-brainer services that every particularly local business needs, which is the local SEO, directories, gives them access to be able to manage their reviews. Even running a local SEO gives them access to an entire social media management platform they could use on their own to track all their analytics and schedule their posts. Did you know that? So the local SEO is really a no-brainer must-have service for any local client, unless they're already just had local SEO done and are knocking it out of the ballpark. But then social media setup and design on their primary social media accounts and maintaining a steady flow of publishing on their social media is also a baseline no-brainer must-have service, right? Certain services that particularly local business just need to have and need to keep up with, and that's one of them. For paid advertising, what's the must-have no-brainer service for everybody? The retargeting needs to be set up and at least a minor budget allocated to it. So those are all your must-have basics. It's a no-brainer, not debatable, need to be running it unless you already are. And then you have your services that are going to be more aggressive for driving traffic. So you can step it up in aggressiveness on SEO to drive more organic traffic. You can step it up with a larger organic strategic social media campaign. And then what's probably one of the most predictable ways to drive traffic? Paid advertising. And that's probably why we need to cover a lot of training on that. But that's also through pay-per-click, retargeting, display ads, not just through Google, but also the paid advertising through social media. Not to mention organic strategic social media and paired with, like paid social media advertising hand in hand. Vince says, I have one client on the service now doing local SEO and PPC. It is wonderful. Awesome. Thanks for the shout out, Vince. Yeah, Blaine recommends everyone starts with Yelp. That's a joke. Some people have mixed feelings about Yelp. I got involved in a pretty decent debate on Yelp. Yelp is on a lot of people's naughty list. Rob says, to waive the $50 fee, do you need to land a campaign every 30 days? Absolutely not. Just run one. As long as it's over $50 a month, you never have to pay anything. Just one. It's all you need. So if you just even launch one for yourself, my gosh, a local SEO, $149 a month, you'll never pay a fee, which I think is outstanding given that you get access to the whole dashboard and all of the audit reporting capabilities unlimited as well. Sales support. In terms of white labeling the dashboard, yeah. Some of you have. Oh boy, I'm getting lost in all these comments. Vince says, local SEO is so inexpensive through the program. I don't know how many of you are veterans in the whole reselling space. If you are, you probably have even worked with me in the past at some point. But eBrands is the cheapest company with the most impressive workload out of anyone that I have ever seen in the entire industry. So thanks, shout out with that, Vince. PPC training, yes. Are there different features with the business agreement that isn't with personal agreement? Is there a price to, not that I know of. Whenever you go to sign up on the free trial, it asks you, are you personal or business? It's pretty much the same thing. It's just whether, it's just the terms. Linda says, using Woodpecker or similar emailing platforms, if we put our information down, we will not get dinged. That's quite a conversation. Depends what volume you're using. At low volume, no, but a lot of people like to drive that traffic to a landing page off of their own domain just in case. Concentrate on landing pages, says Weston. Weston, does that mean that you want to talk about landing pages? Derry says, I don't see a Google Maps service. The local SEO is inclusive of a Google Maps service. Let me show you, like for example, on if you go through the local SEO line items, you'll see how a lot of the strategies align to the GMB or Google My Business Listing Optimization. This is a weekly SEO report. So on the local SEO, you don't just get monthly reports, you get weekly reports. And if you look at the bottom of this weekly report, notice that these analytics are all the Google My Business Listing. How many people visited your website from your Google My Business Listing? How many requested directions? How many called you? How many people found you? And more. This is included in the local SEO. So GMB optimization, 100%, 1-in-1 with the local SEO campaign included with analytics. There's even a management system for this in there. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up before I go over too much longer. Oh my gosh, there came a bunch more questions. Real quick on voting. What are the topic matters you want to see us going over next? To not get too crazy and too far into the future, let's just focus on next time. So let me throw some options out there so we don't just get everything in left field. What I'm thinking about for next time. One, we covered the audit report. It seems to me like it may be worthwhile next time going over particular subject matter regarding local SEO to kind of wrap up the local SEO portion. Like for example, all of the dashboard features that come along with the local SEO when you launch a local SEO campaign, all the line items on the local SEO campaign, what they are, why they're so valuable. My mind's going in the whole local SEO area. Blaine says showing content examples from the local SEO, 100%, have those. Weston talking about lead generation for marketing agencies a bit more. I'm not wanting to dive into that yet, and here's why, Weston, because if we're going to go in a sequential order, it starts with understanding the product and the service. I almost feel like I jumped ahead with the audit, really, before talking about the product more, but I didn't. This is our first VIP biweekly webinar series webinars, so I didn't take a poll yet and understand where a lot of the audience was in terms of your understanding on local SEO. I assume most of you were pretty updated on that package and all the components and everything that's included in the dashboard when you set it up and what your add-ons are. So I talked about the audit this time, but I think we need to go back to the product. Anyone disagree? I'm open to all feedback. Oh, Weston says, okay, best way to upsell as well. Can do that. Okay. Randy, Rob, agree? Good starting point. Okay, so look, the dashboard is going to be a lot funner to go over than line items on the actual package. I think on next one, we're going to start with line items on the actual package, yeah? So what we'll do, if we can get through all the line items on the actual package, we'll move into the dashboard. What it comes with: the reputation portion, reporting, social media, and entire management suite, all of the analytics, lead tracking, how to set up role-based permissions, and more. So it's 2 weeks out. We're going to go over line items on the local SEO. I'll try to make it as entertaining as I can, but what you will come away with is understanding how it works, what it is, examples of the content that's created, videos that are created, the magazine article for your client that's written, and you'll come away with a greater understanding of how valuable it is. So you've got a better grasp on what you should be charging for it, how to charge for it, how to handle billing with clients, things like that. So I'm going to wrap it up, everyone. Thanks for being on the kickoff to the Agency Platform VIP biweekly webinar series. Appreciate any feedback that you have, any shout outs, and I'll see you all 2 weeks from today, same time, same place. Take care, everyone.